Waiting for it. Hello, it is me, Pearl, from Tuned In Pearl. I used to say Tuned In Tarot, but now we're more than tarot. That is our plan for this channel, to be more than tarot. But I'm Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, which is my music, my band. And if you haven't heard it yet, where have you been? 4:44 on the clock when I'm saying that. Go to tunedintarot.com or the link below or the link in my profile, and you can listen to my music, which is what I've been doing for literally my entire life before I ever started doing tarot for people live. And I am releasing an EP 2 weeks from today on September 6th. It will be released. I'm very excited. It is my first full-length EP that I wrote, recorded, and produced myself. I produced it in a studio in Los Angeles when I was living out there for 10 years, and I am really, really proud of it. And it's really good. I know like a lot of people do tarot and then they also have music, and you're like, that's nice, but it's kind of the other way around for me. Like once you hear my music, you're like, oh shit. And then you're like, oh, she does tarot? That's how it is for me. So go check it out. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. Also, all of my music is instilled with my special gift that I have for increasing people's confidence. And you have to listen to it to kind of get what I mean, but you'll feel it. It is definitely imbued in my music. It is a empowering kind of a music. That's every time anybody comments on it, that's what they say. They feel empowered when they listen to it. So go hear for yourself and be amazed and share with everyone, and help my music get out to the masses, because I made it for everybody to enjoy. And I would love if everybody could enjoy it. So I'm here with you today to do the Friday love reading. If you have never been here before, this is where we look at the masculine and feminine energy and what is happening in terms of what they are thinking, feeling, saying, doing, and how to create harmony in the connection. And then we also look at the happiness potential between these two. We look at whether or not they are going to be happy together with the energy in its current state. One of the things I want to say before I get started is I am not your typical twin flame reader, in that I'm reading, when I say masculine energy, I'm talking about your person. And when I say feminine energy, I'm talking about you. No, that's not correct. Anybody who's doing that is doing it wrong, period. Because there is no such thing as a person without feminine energy or a person without masculine energy. Those people would not be functioning. You have to have a balance of both energies. If you're having issues in your relationships, your money, your like just your environment, everything around you, it's coming from a lack of balance between those two parts of yourself. You usually find yourself at these readings because you have started to not have started, probably for many years or many months or whatever, you've been focused on someone, a specific person. And if you've gone and watched other content, you probably consider this person the divine masculine, even though there's nothing divine about them. They are truly just a human. In fact, they are actually acting a lot in their wounded energy rather than in their healed and whole energy, which is why you're here getting a tarot reading about them to begin with. But that person is simply reflecting back your own energy, and they are just especially good at triggering some of the wounds that you have received throughout your life. And that is why you are so fixated or focused on them. I have yet to discover in all of my studies, which are extensive, any information that would lead me to believe that any of the stuff that you see on the internet about twin flame is accurate. It is all inaccurate. I can say that with my whole chest because I have been studying it for a long time. Now, is there a phenomenon around the other person that you're focused on that you maybe have a telepathic connection with? 100%. Is there something strange about how you have a really hard time letting go of this person, or how there's that constant patterning that's going on, that cycle that you're in? 100%. I'm not here to deny your experiences. I'm here to deny the quote unquote facts that you're seeing being touted on the internet, because they're not facts. There's no facts out there. I have not found facts. I have found information that alludes to the balance between masculine and feminine energy, but nowhere in all of my studies have I seen a single piece of information that would lead me to believe that anything anybody says about twin flames is true. If you know otherwise, if you have some specific sacred references for me to read, send them my way. And on Wednesday nights, I have a discussion group specifically for studying sacred texts. and discussing this information and researching it and finding it, because it would be really cool if we could find some actual references to the actual phenomenon of twin flame. But that word itself comes from a woman in the 70s who had a cult. Prior to her, it was called twin soul, which comes from the myth of Aristophanes, which was written by Plato and was never meant to be taken literally as a religious or sacred text. It was meant to explain the origins of homosexual and heterosexual love. Had nothing to do with us having one soul or anything like that. It was just an allegory, a metaphor to be able to describe why some people are attracted to one type of person and other people are attracted to another type of person. That's it. That I have facts for. And if you're interested in that, you can look on my playlists on my Tuned in Pearl YouTube. You'll see I have a playlist called The Origins of the Twin Flame Myth. I highly recommend you watch that if you're interested in anything I just said. But what we're here to do is look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state this energy is in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we do need to shift and change the energy within. That's my byline. That's what I say. That's what I do. So let's take a look and see what the masculine energy is, what state the masculine energy is in regards to relationships and love this week. When I am talking about masculine energy, I'm talking about the mind, the part of us that takes action, the part of us that is analytical, logical, rational, taking the internal and expressing it into the material. And there's probably a person that you are interested in who leans heavily into that energy. Whereas the other side of this energy is the feminine energy, which is the energy of the heart, the energy of emotion, intuition, the direct connection to the divine, the receiver of information, and the creator of life. So this is the creative energy. This would be if you have a passion, like I'm a musician, so my passion in music, that creative energy, that's how my feminine energy is expressed. But it takes my masculine energy to take my feminine creativity and then express it. So that's what I'm talking about when you can't be a person that is one or the other. It doesn't work. Anybody who says that is bullshit. They're just like basically touting the patriarchal binary that we all know is like not really real, because the binaries we have actually made people feel repressed. They don't feel like they can fully express themselves in a binary because we're all on a spectrum. So that idea that like, oh, the reason why you don't have a relationship or the reason why your twin flame isn't coming is because you're too masculine. What? That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense to me, and I reject those things utterly and totally. So feel free to believe in what you want to believe, and like that's totally fine. But I'm probably not your reader if you're one of those people that's like, I need to be all feminine energy or all masculine energy. Is probably not going to work for you to hear these messages. So bye. Have a nice day though. Thanks for coming. Okay, the rest of you that are still here, where's this divine masculine energy overall in terms of love and connection this week? Well, looks like he's struggling. This is a very struggling energy here. This does not look like a comfortable energy. He's sinking in quicksand and he's clinging to this money and he looks very distressed. And what I was thinking when I saw this is that our minds are clinging to what we knew before, even though we were literally drowning in the way that in the things we knew, like the truths or the things we take for granted about the 3D or the material, even though it was uncomfortable and we're literally, it's causing us to sink and spiral downward. There's this desire to cling to those old beliefs because it's kind of this feeling of like, well, the devil that you know is safer than what could be new. But the Four of Pentacles is also about building something, building a strong foundation, having something to stand on so that you can like move forward towards the 10 of Pentacles, which is towards the end of this journey here. So it's not all bad, but I do see that that masculine energy is kind of clinging to the things that seem important because they're tangible. Like I can't really contain the love someone feels for me in a jar, but I can collect pennies in a jar. And so things that I can exchange for like real material things seem significant or important to this masculine energy this week. But at the same time, there's a feeling of that really not being satisfying and kind of pulling them under, like being a bit lost in like, I need to see the world around me reflect my ideas and what I'm trying to create, or I won't be able to believe it, is kind of coming up. And so that might be a bit of a struggle this week if you're trying to create something and all you keep noticing is how you don't have any money in your bank account. You're having a hard time like believing that you can receive money because all you keep noticing is how things have been, and getting bogged down in like the physical. Hi, Miranda. Thanks so much for being here. Good to see you, babes. So that's what the masculine energy is doing. Now, in terms of love and relationships, what I'm seeing is the masculine person, the person who's really leaning into that masculine energy, is probably clinging to the way things were or the way things have been, and that's causing them some distress. This can also be that they're clinging to you, like the person in your life might be like clinging to you, but they're like clinging to an old version of you or how you used to behave. On Thursdays, I sometimes do readings about money, and the reading is called Show Me the Money. And it's like this person in your life needs a physical gesture, which is ironic. It is ironic that this person would need a physical gesture because they haven't given any. And so there is this feeling right now that now they're the ones that are like, I need to know that this person loves me or wants to be with me or something. And they're not getting it. They're not getting that from you because you're no longer expending energy on material gestures to someone who isn't going to return that, because you've healed your Six of Pentacles energy. I feel that very strongly. So I think that this masculine is feeling like really a little bit lost because they are not going to keep getting that reassurance from you in the physical without them giving an actual foundation or building an actual foundation between the two of you. Where the feminine energy is kind of interesting. It's the Princess of Swords. The Princess of Swords is equivalent to the Page in the Rider-Smith-Waite deck. And also she has a kick-ass hairdo. Like, I fuck so hard with this hairdo. And this is from the Cosmic Tarot. This tarot is the Pulp Tarot. And then this is the Cosmic Tarot. I really like pairing these two together. So the Page of Swords is, for me, it's about being curious and about learning. It can be about spying, watching someone, watching what they're doing. We equate it now with like, private accounts on social media type of a deal, because you're not really wanting to be seen. You're wanting to remain hidden, but still able to watch. The other thing I associate it with, though, is bravery. I always talk about this card as being the scene in Harry Potter where, and sorry if you hate J.K. Rowling now. Okay, I still really like Harry Potter, but whatever. The scene where Harry is behind the gravestone and he decides that he's just going to fight Voldemort because he doesn't want to die like a dog, basically. He wants to just take the risk and go out fighting. And all he has is his wand and verbal spells. Like, he doesn't know how to do silent spells right now, which means his opponent will not be surprised by the magic he's doing. And he really only has a handful of spells. And so he just goes out and decides to use Expelliarmus, which is to basically disarm your opponent. And it causes this connection between the two wands that ends up saving him. But he has no idea that's going to happen. He's just like, I'm just going to face this. I'm not going to just be back here cowering. I'm just going to, whatever. If I die, I'll be with my mom and dad. So it'll be worth it. And the energy that it takes to be brave when you don't have a lot of information, the feminine energy is there. She's like, look, I have yet to experience a healthy foundation in relationships. My mind really wants that. My mind really wants to have that healthy foundation, and is afraid kind of that it's not going to be able to. And I don't actually know exactly how to do it, but I'm willing to put myself out there and I'm willing to try. Bravery is not somebody not being afraid of something. Bravery is you're afraid of something and you're still willing to do it anyway. So the feminine is like, I know you need solid proof. I know your mind, I know mind that you need evidence, but my heart believes that we can just start talking, not knowing what we're going to say, not knowing how it's going to work out, and it will work out for me. Underlying this energy, we have for the masculine, the moon, which is showing me all the anxiety that's feeding into this really terrorized look on this masculine's face here. We have the subconscious hidden beliefs that you're clinging to in your reality right now. So the things that are maybe not even apparent to you or obvious to you, but you cling to them, and that kind of keeps you from moving forward. That is what the moon is representing for me. For the divine feminine, very interestingly, we have the King of Pentacles underlying her energy. So this is exactly it. The feeling that I'm getting is the feminine is very much, I don't know where we're going any more than you do, but I can feel that because I know my own worthiness, my own value, which is what I feel from a King of Pentacles card, because I know who I am and I know my own power, I feel that I can attract that same kind of power. I also feel that you're going to catch up with me. Like you're here at this Four of Pentacles brain, but I know that you're going to finally realize, because it's underlying with this moon card subconsciously here in your heart space. It's what's underlying this fear of like, I don't know if I can like create what I desire. I don't know if I can get this connection to be stable and secure. I feel insecure. I'm afraid, or my mind rather not. No, I don't feel insecure. I'm afraid. My mind, my thoughts are insecure thoughts. Despite that, I know I can tap into my true power, my true stability, the true security that's within me. I also think on a very surface level, this reading is simply just in your connection right now. What you might be experiencing this week is this sense that you're uncertain of exactly where or how it's going to happen, but you feel very strongly that your person is going to stabilize and be secure enough to approach you. You just don't know exactly how it's going to happen. You're kind of giving it up. Like I've been saying lately, be still and know I am God, and with God, all things are possible. I keep saying that, knowing that I am God, the creator. Within me is the kingdom of heaven, and I can have that externally. I don't know how. I just have to bravely trust in the abundance I feel is possible for me, and it will unfold. It's like that kind of mentality is being applied to romantic connection. So not just money and finance this week, but romance as well. So what is the masculine energy actually thinking about the feminine right now? Well, good thoughts. We have, sorry, my hair is like in this weird stage where I definitely should do a hair washing day, and it's got like little frizzies that like stick to me. I can't say that. The masculine energy is definitely thinking good thoughts about divine feminine here with this 10 of Cups. There's a whole family here. They're all bowling together. It looks like they just won again. There's all these trophies behind them. This is winning, feeling really fulfilled, especially when you're together and enjoying one another. They're all wearing these red shirts, which go so well with my blood red nails here that I am kind of obsessed with, that I just painted myself. I mean, listen, I am not like a person who's spent a lot of time learning how to do makeup or anything. So my hyperfixation on gel nails over the last, I think it's been since June. It's been a very interesting journey for me, and I love it. And it's like a fun way to express myself. And more on the feminine energy side than I usually am. I'm kind of a person that's like embraced more feminine aspects of myself over the years and feel more like Empress energy than I have in the past. And so I'm really leaning into that. But the red is this powerful indication of a stable, secure root chakra, which is like where you build from. So I do think that this divine masculine energy this week is really having to think more about what makes him feel secure, what makes you or what makes them feel secure in relationship and connections. There's something about you that when your person thinks about you, they feel like very secure in the way that you make them feel. Now, they may not feel secure about themselves or how to approach you or how to build something with you, but you make them feel safe, I think, in a way that they haven't always felt with others or in other connections, or it's something significant about your connection makes them feel that way. But ultimately, they're thinking really good, positive thoughts about you and your connection this week. What's the feminine energy thinking about this week? We're gonna hit the full progression here into this into the Pentacles energy. So now this is interesting because overall she feels the masculine energy is in the King of Pentacles, right? We saw that in this card here. But the way she thinks about the masculine energy is that he sure is taking his sweet ass time with the Knight of Pentacles. He's moving very slowly. And also, he was not budging out of her headspace. So the person leaning more into feminine energy is like, no matter what I do, no matter where I go, like I can't get this energy out of my head. What's really funny is when I painted my nails, I posted an Instagram story. If you want to, I post infrequently, a little more than I have in the past. But if you want to see my Instagram stories, I use my Pearl and the Prayers account, and I post kind of more personal stuff on there. So if you're interested in that, Pearl and the Prayers is where you will find me. But I posted when I finished my nails, and because they were red, and the song "Red Red Wine" popped into my head, which is like a UB40 song, was not at all. Actually, I think Neil Diamond did it first. I don't know if he wrote it or someone else wrote it, and then but UB40 covered it. But I posted it and just like sent it off, and then I was like, oh shit, like what are those lyrics? And I went and looked up the lyrics, and I was like, like definitely it's not a coincidence that I picked that song to post for my nails, because it was literally like, no matter what I do, I can't get you out of my head type of a song. So divine feminine is on that level. I like, what are you thinking about the masculine? I'm thinking about the masculine is what I'm getting. Like, what are you thinking about him? I'm thinking about him always in the, it's like solid, stable, will not budge out of my mind, totally there all the time. Okay. Sign for you. You want to do your nails more? It's so fun. It's so fun. And you know what? Like my brother gave me a $25 gift card for my birthday from Amazon, and I was able to get red nails. I have a pack with yellow, orange, tortoiseshell that I'm going to do for like fall colors, like a remover thing, something else. What else did I get? I don't know. I got like 5 things. So I was thinking about how I used to spend $100 every time I went to the salon, because I always wanted to get like art stuff done. And then I would feel bad being like, can you do a bunch of different colors? And now when I do it for myself, I can do my nails like 150,000 times, and I only have to pay like $25 for the supplies. So it's like very economical to do it yourself too. My next step is to buy the little stands so that I can paint them and then you like do press-ons instead of the gel on my nail, because I want to be able to change them up more often than I can when I put these extensions on. So that's my next thing after I get sick of doing them on my nails, I guess. So, okay, how's divine masculine actually feeling about feminine? So he's thinking, feminine's great. I love the feminine. That the idea, the fantasy of her, that is so fulfilling and satisfying to me. I could think about it all damn day. What is he actually feeling? 5 of Wands, which is showing me like that stuck energy that the feminine is picking up on here with this not willing to budge, kind of slow moving But you know what I just noticed, and I think I have noticed this in the past, but it's sticking out to me right now. See this? Right here, we have this energy here on the cliff. First of all, this is probably representing Capricorn because this is the earth energy in this card. But this is a famous little thing that has happened throughout art history. One of the things I happen to do in my life, whenever I tell people about my life, they're like, you did everything. I'm like, because I don't look that old, but my first bachelor's degree was in art history, which weirdly led me here, even though I then ended up going to school for electronic production and sound design, like, and I have 2 degrees. But this guy right here on the cliff, this is a trope. This was used a lot, particularly in medieval paintings. The person I'm thinking of, you have probably seen Halloween images from the most, is a painter named Albrecht Dürer, who is most famous for painting himself as Christ. There's this portrait, self-portrait as Christ. No one had ever done that before. That was a very, very like blasphemous thing to do at the time. So it was really controversial. So he's most famous for that painting. But what he also used to do, and the only reason I know this is because I did my thesis on this, he depicted images of Eve and witches. That was something else he did. And the images of Eve and witches were oddly connected. And so my whole thesis was about how in medieval times, they believed in the 4 humors. And they believed that and it was like melancholic, sanguine, humored, what was the other ones? Melancholic, sanguine, I can't remember them all, but it was like the 4 states of a human being, and those 4 humors needed to be balanced, and if they were thrown out of balance, then the person would be imbalanced. So for instance, artists were frequently known to have too much melancholic energy. That was a very common belief. And my thesis idea was that Albrecht Dürer painted this image of the goat standing on the cliff so often because this is a symbol of the 4 humors. And the goat falling off the cliff would basically cause somebody to be out of balance. But if Albrecht Dürer didn't feel he had an abundance of melancholic energy, he wouldn't have been a painter. So he actually believed that this moment when the 4 humors are thrown out of balance was responsible for causing him to become an artist. So when you would see images of Eve and images of witches, he would show this goat, because the moment that Eve eats of the fruit in their belief system is the moment when all of the humors were thrown out of balance. So he, in a way, would be like revering her rather than like having it be a negative image of her. That was my whole thesis was about. So I think it's really interesting that I'm being drawn to this, which is like there is this moment where things are about to shift or change dramatically because of the imbalanced energy in the connection that's coming up for me. So divine masculine is feeling this block, feeling this obstacle, but he's also feeling this 6 of Swords energy in union with this at the same time, in tandem is what I wanted to say actually, with this block. So there's a couple things going on here. He feels divine feminine, who is, remember, his number 1 fantasy, is probably about to get the heck out of Dodge with someone else because he has thrown this obstacle in the connection of this immovable energy where there is nothing moving. There's no movement. It's stopped. It's halted. And it's his own basically chaos that he has around him, or his own mental blocks or whatever that are causing this to happen. And so because of that, and we can see this dark energy here, because of that, he fears. And again, we know he's afraid because underlying his energy, the reason why he's clinging and having such a hard time letting go of the way that he's been acting is because he's super afraid here with this moon card. All of these fears are coming up. So he's feeling really triggered. The equivalent of this for your own personal life would be when you know you need to make a change because there's a fantasy life that you're craving, and you absolutely know you can't have the fantasy life if you don't let go of the behaviors that you've been clinging to, staying up late and watching shows, and then not getting up on time to do the things you want to do that's going to make you feel good. putting all your time into something that's not really going to give you anything, continuing to go to a job that you don't like, and instead of quiet quitting and reserving your energy so that you can go home and put it into something else, you like care way too much about whether you got those emails done, when like literally the business you work for gives not zero fucks about you. It's like all that kind of stuff that's really hard to let go of. You're like, yeah, but if I don't do that, I'm not going to make this baseline amount of survival money that I've been making for so long that's not satisfied me in any way. But for some reason, I need to do that, right? So you have all these valid reasons, all these logical reasons for these perceived obstacles that you see, and they keep you from actually doing what it is that you want to do. The masculine, though, is feeling afraid that because he's done nothing, there's all these other people that are interested in establishing healthy connections with her, because that Four of Wands is there, right? So all these other people could come and they could establish this healthy foundation in a relationship, and he's not doing anything. And he's really afraid that she's going to move on, or that she has already done it in some cases. And so he's feeling like he needs to do something to break up this obstacle. And that is why we're seeing movement. Hang on. I feel like this is probably an important text I just got. Sorry. Somebody needs a phone number of my brother, and he's like traveling to him right now. So can you open up on my computer though? Can you open up? We can't. No, that's not possible. No. There we go. Okay. Can I see my brother's number? Why is my computer being so slow? Oh my God. Okay. Oh, that worked for a second. Nope, I don't need to look at that. I just need getting the pinwheel of death here. And can we see his phone number? Holy shit. I'm getting so annoyed. Nope, not showing it. Okay, TikTok, forgive me. It's going to pause for a second. I'll be right back. All right, let's see. We've got to send John's contact to Jamin. You know, brothers, they like, one brother doesn't have the other brother's number. Like, come on. What are you doing? All right, here we go. Take it. Okay. Now, will this close is the real question. Will this close? Thank you for being patient, TikTok. Sorry about that, my friends. Okay, close this. Oh, and his number did appear on the screen after all of that. Perfect. Okay. So back to this. I do feel that the fear is motivating the masculine to actually make a movement himself, to shift away. And in this image, this is actually a feminine. This is not typical for a Six of Swords. And I kind of like that they changed this up a little bit, but this is the feminine energy who's actually propelling this boat. And I think it's interesting because it's like the feminine is saving herself. The masculine doesn't need to rush in and save her anymore. She can take care of herself, which kind of makes this masculine energy feel a bit like, well, what do I do then? Because there isn't sort of this awareness that, well, you save yourself. You save yourself, bro. You don't need to save someone else. You save yourself, just like she's learned to save herself. And you learn from the lessons of your past. Those swords are thoughts that you're having, lessons that you need to learn, and you learn from them, and then you move on. So, but masculine is super afraid. This is my fantasy. I don't want to let this go. I'm afraid that she's leaving, abandoned me, whatever. So we've got abandonment wound vibes coming up, which makes sense. Oh my God, this feminine. Okay, so how does she feel about the masculine energy? we've got another prince here. So she's not feeling like this person is acting very mature out the gate. We've got prince vibes, which is knight energy versus king energy. She knows that this person has the potential to be fully mature and masterful. Classic. Jamin texts me, I actually had his number. Bitch. Okay. That's so. I was like, how do you not have his number? What do you mean? Anyway, so divine feminine is not really thinking or feeling that this masculine is acting very mature, because he's not. He's not. Now, if you're all like, yeah, this my person's not acting mature at all, hootie. Bitch, your person is a reflection of you. So you feel that you're not acting mature. That's part of what's going on inside of you. You don't feel that you're being very mature about something. Maybe it's not necessarily about your person. It might be about your money or your career or the way you act with your parents or your siblings or your friends or whatever. But there's a part of you that feels like, I know that I can be a grown-up, but I'm not being a grown-up right now. And sometimes that's okay, because, you have to be like a child to enter into the kingdom of heaven. But if you want to actually have things happen in the material, you have to at some point make things happen in the physical. It can't just be fantasy, playing, and pretend. There's a moment where it crosses over into receiving inspiration and then following through with those actions. And so you want to be doing that. Otherwise, you're not being very mature about it, right? But this feminine energy does feel love. She feels open to receiving love from this masculine energy. And she also does feel like she wants to give love to this masculine energy. But look at, almost looks like the same dude. And, it's like, I feel that you have the capacity, but I think you don't, kind of, because I think you're not going to do anything. You've got your arms crossed, which is stubborn. That gives stubborn to me. You've got your little pentacle here stashed away in your armpit, like you don't want to share it with anybody. So I think you are just going to sit there forever and not actually do anything, kind of. But I feel like you have the capacity within you to be loving and to give and receive love. What is the divine masculine actually saying to the feminine energy? We've got the Three of Pentacles. I gotta work. I gotta do work. I have a team of people. They're counting on me. I'm trying to build something here. I'm hearing that I'm trying to build something here. Okay, well, good for you. I'm like focused on what's directly in front of me. I'm looking at the 3D. And you know what happens when you're focused on the 3D? Well, because you filled the 3D with all of the thoughts from the past and your fears about the future, your 3D usually doesn't look that great unless you've done a lot of work on really leveling out your mind and balancing your head to heart sort of communication system. And you've got a grasp on your emotional reactivity. If those things aren't in place, your 3D probably doesn't look that good. So the divine masculine is like, basically, I got to work. I have people that are counting on me. I have a team of people counting on me to do what I need to do. In some cases, they might be saying, I want to work with you. I want to collaborate with you. But I'm honestly not, that might be what they want to say to you, but I don't think they're saying that to you. I don't think so. That's not the overwhelming feeling I'm getting. I think they're literally just being like, I got to work right now. We're like, okay, have fun. Divine feminine, what are you saying to the divine masculine? If you want it, come and get it. This is literally that fucking hot ass song that Radiohead did for the Romeo and Juliet movie, the talk show host. It's like, you want me? Well, come and find me. I'll be waiting with a gun and a pack of sandwiches. I'll probably get restricted now because I said that word. But anyway, this is like, if you want it, come and get it. What do you mean? I don't understand. This does not compute. Literally does not compute. I have a full cup. It's overflowing with love. I have filled my cup. I have a strong desire for you. In fact, the songs that came on during the shuffle, the Divine Feminine song was like, come and lay down with me, okay? This is definitely like I love you and I want you. That's what I'm saying to you. And to which the Divine Masculine responds, I gotta work. Okay. You gotta work. Cool. Enjoy that. Does working suck your dick later? I don't think it does, but maybe it does. It depends on your job, I guess. But then we get to the actions. What is the Divine Masculine actually doing? This is what he's saying. I'm working. What is he actually doing? Well, I don't hate this, actually. Ace of Cups, which the Divine Feminine was like, hi, I got a cup for you. We got the Ace of Cups. We got the King of Wands, which is like somebody who's really taking action and a grown-ass adult. And then we have the High Priestess, which is really, really positive energy, because that's showing me that there is this desire and follow through with trusting your intuition, trusting in the love that you're being offered, believing in the love that you're being offered, having the conviction of those beliefs, and also seeing the feminine energy as someone who is ready for action and ready for love. So this masculine is saying, I'm working on it, or I'm dealing with the 3D. I'm trying to build something in the 3D. And then what he's actually doing is taking actions to fill his cup and believe and trust in his own power, to believe that he does have the power to make the changes he needs to make, to actually come forward in that Six of Swords energy, because he doesn't want to let go of this connection with the feminine energy. He doesn't want to give up on his dream. So I hope that as I'm reading this, you're starting to see the parallels between you and this person in terms of like, this is what I do in my life that's similar to how this person is acting in this relationship with me. Like, I don't want to give up on my dream to release my music into the world. So I uploaded my music. It's coming out in 2 weeks. And I, as much as I like have a fear that people are blocked from seeing it, or that it'll stay mysterious, nobody will actually get to enjoy it, I don't care. I'm still doing it anyway. I'm just trusting, following through those actions, believing in it. And I hope, and I just kind of know actually that is what I'm meant to do. So this masculine energy is there in that energy. What's Divine Feminine doing right now? I really love that she has both of these teenagers here with the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups, and then she has both of the grown-ass adults here in the spread as well. I really love that. She's like, well, this masculine energy might not be able to act grown up, but I can, and I will. I really like that. But what we see with the King of Cups energy is somebody that is having a lot of deep feelings and a lot of emotions, but just kind of remaining on the surface of them. Now, usually we see the masculine energy doing this. So Divine Feminine's kind of taken a page from his book. I don't know how much he's going to like it, because it's certainly not fun to be on the receiving end of this energy. There's good parts about this energy. This is somebody who's compassionate, loving, a guide, like a father energy, like a good father energy. It's somebody who has very deep emotions and who knows when to keep those emotions in check so that you don't cause conflict. Like I always talk about, this is the kind of a king that might be terrified that like the plague is going to wipe out the entire kingdom, but they're not going to get up on the podium and be like, I don't know what to do, drink bleach. Like that's not going to be the kind of king that this person is going to be. He's going to be level. He's going to make you feel secure. He's going to make sure that you feel calm, that you're not feeling like all of these energy is churning within him and he just can't keep it together. So the Divine Feminine is really in this energy of being like, I have these deep feelings, but I'm keeping it together. I'm not going to be like, having an emotional breakdown every time the Divine Masculine doesn't follow through with an action, because I'm starting to understand that it is those like bursts of emotion that kind of cause an imbalance between us, because the masculine needs to really feel like a sense of security that is challenged when he doesn't know how to handle emotion, like he doesn't have the tools. Because remember, she sees him as this energy. This is not somebody who has the tools to handle their emotions. This is somebody who's learning to do that. So she's like, okay, because I know how to handle my emotions, I'm going to keep my shit together so that this person can safely come in without feeling like they can't handle it, because I need to be the person that is handling my shit since I know how to do it. So I have mastery. This person doesn't yet. I'm going to be basically masterful in my energy. Divine masculine, what do you need to do to create more harmony between what you're thinking, feeling, saying, and doing? Six of Cups. Okay. This is revisiting those subconscious programs and conditioned, like the things you've been conditioned to think and do, revisiting those things, kind of seeking them out a bit in your childhood and figuring out, when exactly did I start to be terrified of feminine energy? When did I start to be afraid of emotions? When did I start to become emotionally unavailable? Or when did I see people that were doing that? Because that is going to give me some information about how to address those things, because the child version of me didn't get the gentle, like, nurturing it needed to be able to feel safe around these big feelings and big emotions. So if I can identify some of those points in my life where that first started, I can go and give myself what I didn't get. So revisiting the past with the Six of Cups, and also just remembering what it's like to be like a child and be innocent and not jaded by what life has like shown you over the years. That's something that's going to really help your mind. So your mind, or the person that you're focused on, they would be most best served by going back to the points in time when they started to develop these fears, that, you know, if you don't talk to the feminine energy, that she's going to abandon or leave you, or if you say the wrong thing, or if you do the wrong thing, or maybe if you do nothing at all, sometimes, and people just leave, people pass, things happen, right? Like, kind of going back and helping to reparent yourself is going to be something that's going to be helpful. Feminine energy, what will be helpful to you? I can't believe this reading. To create more harmony between what you're thinking, feeling, saying, and doing. It's the Moon card. There's quite a lot of places where you're aligning here in this reading. So remembering, Divine Feminine, your own wounding that you have had to illuminate. Like, you have had to go and shine a light on those inner child wounds. You have had to bring those things up to the surface, and you were safer in that process because you're allowed to be emotional when a person who is in a patriarchal society that has taught everyone to really dislike and hate, despise the feminine, there is this feeling of not being able to actually express your emotion. I saw this post by this creator that was saying that when men are raised from boys in our society, they basically are taught to be men by being taught to not be girls. Like, you know, don't act like a girl, don't be weak, which they perceive women to be, how are you perceiving me to be as weak when I literally spent 14.5 hours birthing you into the world? I don't know. But like, don't cry, don't, don't show your emotions. The way that you're taught to be a man is to not be a woman. Which of course then creates people who don't like women, because they literally have been taught their whole lives not to like be like that, which causes resentment, because being a woman doesn't mean that you're emotional. Like, women are allowed to be emotional. Being a person means that you're emotional. But we have this gender binary that says a man acts like not a woman and a woman acts like not a man, until she had to in order to provide for herself. And then we got into this thing where equality was about women being more like men, instead of equality being that people get to be a balance of energy. They get to like cars or painting their nails or dresses or pants or whatever the fuck, because that doesn't have anything to do with their biology. Those things are inherently one way or the other. Like, so the way that we have been indoctrinated and conditioned has actually caused the patriarchy itself has caused men to be at a bigger disadvantage than women, which is something I don't say easily because it seems like they have a lot of advantages, and they do. But the biggest disadvantage is that they're not allowed to be themselves. Whereas feminine energy has been, it's more acceptable for us to be able to embody both the energy of masculine and feminine. We've literally had to do that. So it's way more acceptable for us to be able to do that. The disadvantage for people leaning into their masculine energy is that they're not allowed to be balanced. They have to stay in that energy of the logic and the mind, which is when it's left to itself, just causes a lot of havoc. They also are incredibly emotional. Like, where do you think war comes from? You think war comes from people being able to control their emotions? Because that's literally not the thing. People who are violent are, and when we look at statistics, we see that men engage in violence more often than women. Violence is an inability to control your emotions, which means emotions are not exclusively feminine. The ability to express your emotions in a healthy way is exclusively feminine, because it's like okay to cry. But if you can't cry, you're going to punch a wall. You're going to punch someone in the head, because unexpressed sadness becomes rage or depression. So literally, they have crippled themselves. I watched them from the sidelines being stupid every day. I'm sorry, what? You think women are more emotional than you? I just watched you punch a wall, buddy. Like, what you mean? Okay. Like, also, every month when I start to be quote unquote intolerable to you, I have higher levels of testosterone in my body. The times when I'm more emotional, the times when I'm more irritated, more aggressive, more like aggravated by the world, guess what? You don't like it because you see yourself reflected back to you. You don't like that? No, I don't really like it either. But like when I'm not having an outlet for my emotions or feelings, that's what happens. So these things that you have been conditioned to believe, whether you believe them or not anymore, they still have an effect over you until you fully release yourself from them. And that just comes through time. It just comes through consistently giving yourself permission to be who you are, not by anybody's decisions about how that needs to be expressed, but just to become authentically you, to feel super confident about that and trust yourself and not worry about what other people think, which is also kind of comes from the Four of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, which we saw at the beginning of this reading. And the really interesting thing about this whole thing is the divine feminine is curious about whether or not the divine masculine is going to be able to fully embody this masterful energy. Oh, God damn it. This fucking verify your shit on TikTok, it literally pisses me the fuck off. Okay. There's my masculine energy for the day. Okay, let's see. What is the happiness potential between these two lovely individuals? We have, oh, I like that. Also, it's so interesting this card keeps being in reverse because I don't have reversals in this deck. Okay, so divine masculine, the happiness potential rests on this and this alone. This is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. This is a fear of not having enough, not being good enough, a fear of lack, a fear of being abandoned, left out in the cold. If you can release that fear and look at the progression from 4 to 5 here, if you can no longer think of yourself in those terms and release the fear that this feminine is going to leave you or abandon you, and the only way that that would actually be a problem is if you didn't have a full cup of your own. If you're relying on the feminine to help you with your feelings or emotions, process your feelings or emotions for you, or you're relying on someone else to make you feel like you are valuable or worth it, then this is terrifying. This person leaving is terrifying. But if you feel very good in your own skin, if you feel able to provide yourself with companionship, love, sensitivity, nourishment, all of those things, then this isn't a fear that you have. You're not afraid of it anymore. You know, it sucks when people die. I just experienced it. I had to say goodbye to my uncle I was so close to him. And I feel sad. I definitely feel sad. And I feel like holidays will miss him. Like I feel the loss of him, but I'm also like really aware of the legacy he left behind. All of my memories that feel so much more valuable to me, more precious to me, the recipes, even this that covers my chair is from him. Like it's weird. He's like more in my room in my life now than he was when he used to just come over and have dinner with us once a week, or make dinner for us because he was a chef. It doesn't mean that you won't feel sad about somebody leaving or you won't feel a pang or a loss there, but it doesn't take you out because you feel so fulfilled about life in general, and that has to come from yourself. I have so many people who come to me, they want to know when their person is going to come back. They want to know when things are going to work out for them. And it is hard for me as a reader, as a spiritual counselor, sometimes because I'm very empathetic and I know how they feel. It is hard for me to look them in the eye and say to them, this person will not come back and this relationship will not work out until you don't need it anymore. Because that is a journey. Not needing it anymore is a journey. It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. And some people never accomplish it. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, it's not happening. That's not happening because you need it. And you're never your higher self, which is you, right? The God source, whatever, that is never going to validate something that isn't true for you when you've asked for something. So if you've asked, you're like, I want to have a healthy, fulfilling, satisfying relationship. So I want person A to come back to me. And your higher self is going to be like, okay, well, if I bring this person back to you and you don't know how to have a healthy, stable relationship with yourself, you'll never have what you just asked for. So I can't give it to you, babe. I can't give it to you. It's like if I say to myself, like, I really want to have a super healthy relationship with my body. And I want to be able to completely ignore my body's cues in order to do that. And my higher self is going to be like, sorry, I can't give you that, because the only way you can have a healthy relationship with your body is if you listen to its cues. If it's hungry, you got to feed it. If it's full, you got to stop eating. If it needs to move, you got to move it. And if you don't listen to any of those cues, there's no way for you to have a healthy relationship. Like, so nope, can't do it. Can't do it. You're going to have to tune into your body if you want. That's just going to be how it's going to happen, right? It's the same in this connection. So this person has to absolutely face their fears. They should dig them out from their childhood here. When did I first feel abandoned? When did I first feel like I wasn't enough? Okay, can I give that version of myself what I needed now so that I can become who I was meant to be? Because I was never meant to be this way. I was never meant to be this way. That wasn't the way that I envisioned my life to be. That's why it feels so out of alignment. That's why I'm like, I don't understand why my life is like this. It's because it's not what you imagined. But there's a block in your mind that makes you think you can't have what you imagined because you're missing something. And you think the relationship is going to give it to you. The job is going to give it to you. The money is going to give it to you. It's not going to give it to you. It doesn't come from outside. All of this that's outside is just an expression of what's inside. So outside cannot give you what you need until you are giving yourself what you need. And you can only find that out by going within and asking, what do you need? And listening and responding much better than your caregivers probably ever did or could because of their own limitations, right? So masculine energy, releasing 5 of Pentacles. Feminine energy, what do you need? You just got to keep, you don't even, for me, this is not something you already have. This is strength and the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is all about the self-love I just talked about. It's all about being sensitive and psychic to your own needs, nourishing yourself, filling up your cup. It's about being your own counterpart right? You saw yourself already as the King of Cups. That's what you're doing. You're like, all right, I'm being the King of Cups. It's like keeping the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. Keep being balanced within yourself. And also look at how this relationship is already here. It's already here. It's done. Okay? It's done. That's the other thing you have to do. You keep going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? If you're saying, where is it? That means you are not seeing it. You have to believe in it to see it. If you're saying, where is it? That's kind of indicating to me you don't really believe it's coming. And that's why you're kind of panicky. When people say, when is something going to happen? I always say to them, this is not really a when kind of a question. This isn't really what you want to know. You want me to tell you when it's going to happen so that you can have conviction that it is going to happen. So when is really, will it happen? That's whenever I hear that question, I'm like, this is will it happen kind of a question. Because if I said to you, if you said, I want a baby, and then you became pregnant, you would stop feeling in your mind, you would stop feeling the I want a baby feeling, because you would know that the baby was coming within 9 months, like maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, but you know it's coming. So, so no, you're not going to come up to me and say, when will I have a baby? You know you're going to have it because there's a certain amount of time on it. You might be like, will this go well? Will everything work out for the best? But you're not going to ask when, because you know when. So the idea that you don't know when is really just you thinking that you don't know if it will happen. Because the time frame is irrelevant. Time is an illusion. Anyway, as hard as it is to wrap your brain around. But Divine Feminine, just continue to remain in control of those emotions. Continue to be gentle with yourself. That's the biggest message. Just be really gentle with yourself. The more gentle you are with yourself, the more gentle you are going to seem to the people around you. So your gentleness with self is going to be gentleness with your person. The more gentle you are, the more safe they feel. It's not your job to make them feel safe. It's your job to make yourself feel safe. If you feel safe and secure, then everybody feels safe and secure around you. One of the superpowers I have is that when people work with me, their confidence increases. It kind of doesn't matter what we're working on. They just feel better about themselves. They feel more confident. Confidence is just something I have, and it's just something I've always had. I'm a Leo sun, a Leo moon, and my North Node is in Leo. If astrology is real, which, I mean, if astrology is not real, why do Leos never brush their hair? I don't know. But if it's real, it makes sense that I just naturally am a confident person. And one of the ways that you have confidence is that you practice that. Like when I'm a music teacher, I teach piano, voice, music production. If you want to work with me, there's a link in my profile. I actually really love teaching music. So, and I do it virtually. But as a music teacher, I'm always like, listen, you're not going to feel confident about this song unless you have sang this song inside, outside, and upside down. I always tell people when they're working on a piece of music, everybody starts at the beginning of a song. Everybody knows the first verse. Everyone always knows the first verse really well. And they're less stable when they get to the bridge or the second verse in the bridge, whatever. So I tell them, start your song in the middle of the song. Practice from the end. Practice. When I have piano students, I tell them to go to the very last measure of the piece, the very last little group of notes at the bottom of their music. And I say, play that measure, then play the measure in front of it into the last measure, then play the third one into the last measure, then play the fourth one into the last measure, then play the fifth one into the last measure, because that's usually the weakest part of the piece. If you want to feel confident about something, you have to keep practicing it. So one of the hurdles I have come up upon in my journey in relationships is that I have acquired knowledge of healthy, stable relationships, secured attachments, an awareness of my behaviors. I have worked on my relationship with myself. I've covered all of these like different things that you would need to do to have a healthy relationship, but I have not had a relationship to practice in. I have a lot of matches on. I didn't used to have that. I used to have like, oh, nobody matches with me. Now I have like 80 fucking matches all the time to go through on my dating app. But nothing has panned out for me to be able to practice. I haven't even been able to practice going on a date in the last couple of years, even though I match with people because of circumstances that I'm in right now. So I know that my last piece of my puzzle for me to fully heal in relationships is to practice in a relationship, whether that's with the person that I have been hoping would work out or with another person. I now am at a healed point where I don't care. I used to be like, oh no, I can only be with this one person because of twin flames or something. And now I'm like, oh my God, no, I that doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I'm sure the divine masculine energy is scared about this, because there is a lot of competition. And as soon as I have that one that clicks and we can go start working on it, I'm going to do it. And I wouldn't think twice about that. Not because I don't love my person, but because I want to practice relationships and I want to be able to actually feel confident about them. So do everything you can right now to practice loving yourself and working on your relationship with yourself. I'm seeing Abby say, same here. I know we're in that same spot, Abby. Really get confident there. And then I think the next phase is what's happened to me. Like now I'm pretty confident about my relationship with myself. And I mean, really confident about it. Now I'm getting all these matches. So now I'm getting a lot of opportunities to test. Okay, well, getting into a connection where there's more of a balance is maybe my first lesson that I need to learn, instead of me being like, I love you, I want to be with you, and having the other person be like, I'm terrified of you and running away. Right. Now I'm at a point where I'm not desperate. So I'm not coming in with that, like, oh my God, he was nice to me, I'm going to like do everything he ever wants me to do. Right now it's much more like, I mean, of course he's nice to me. Look at me. Who's going to be mean to me? Like, what person is going to be like, wow, I'm going to treat this person horribly? Like, no, they're going to cherish me. I feel that my worthiness now. Right. So my next step is to have a connection that is initiated with somebody who's going to treat me with respect, because I haven't had that, right? So practice. That is how you are going to be confident. And you practice by loving yourself first. And if you don't like that, and I definitely have gone through times in my journey where when I get that advice, I'm like, and that means that you think, and you're wrong. I'm going to call you out right now. You're wrong. You think that when you have this relationship, you're going to love yourself. Also, you think you already love yourself. But if it's annoying to you to have to spend time with yourself, if it's annoying to you to have to be alone, if it's annoying to you to have to like figure out what it is that you like and want to do and take yourself on a date, you don't love yourself. Because when you love yourself, it's actually the other way around. It's actually, you're kind of like, I don't know if I really want to, like, I have a lot of things I like to do with myself. I don't really know how much time I have to do that with someone else. It's actually kind of the other way. You're sort of like, your time with yourself is precious, and having to share that time is like something that you do for someone you really love, not just something you do because you're desperate to feel loved. All right, let's get the final messages for y'all. This is for the oh my God, shut up. So stupid. For the divine masculine, we're getting the Tower coming out. This is the Tower energy for this week. And then we're getting this blessed card in reverse. So it's a protection message. So a major shift for the masculine energy coming with that. For the feminine energy, we're getting and I'm going to read these cards to you in just a moment, but I'm just showing you the cards first. The Queen of Wands, which obviously is making us think of the Strength card. Also, that means we got the King and the Queen of Wands in this reading too, which is again showing me that it is likely the person that you are focused on is like a perfect match to you in terms of being a counterpart. Does that mean they're the perfect match that you're supposed to be with forever? Absolutely not. It just means that this person that you have picked, that you're focused on right now, is like the perfect match for you to work on these things that I've just been talking about for an hour and change, because I'm really going in for the long reading today. And that is coming up with Divine Feminine, Time to Go. You're getting a Time to Go card. So we're going to see what that's about for you. But first, let's look at the Tower card for the masculine. This is from Abby actually got me this deck. I got this deck right before I went on my trip to see her, and it's called the Guardians of the Night Tarot. It's by the same creator of the Crow Tarot, MJ Cullinane, and it's such a great deck. I love this. And I really like it because it's tarot and also spirit animal, which is why I like to use it kind of as an oracle. I often use it as an oracle card. The Tower. I can never remember the number of the Tower. I remember almost all the other numbers, but the Tower doesn't stick with me for some reason. 16. The energy of the Tower can seize our lives in a variety of ways. It could be losing your job, a sudden and unexpected loss of residence, a bill that comes out of the blue that wipes out your savings. The Tower brings swift change and shakes up life as we know it. All the structures we've grown accustomed to, the security that we perhaps have taken for granted, are ripped right from under us, and the feeling of being flung into the air takes over. When the Tower appears in a reading, it may speak to a significant moment in your past. Remember what we said the Divine Masculine needed to do? Dig into his past. Okay, bitch, let's see. A significant moment in your past that caused a major disruption and as a result left you picking up the pieces. It may also arrive as a warning, a sign that something important in your life is about to change, which I definitely feel. Remember, I saw that precipice there, the goat that's on the cliff. What I think is this week, because the divine masculine is unwilling to let this thing go and is afraid that it's going to go, he's just going to tap into the feminine energy, be brave, not knowing what's going to happen, trust that he's worth it, and make something happen. That's because we saw the King of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the High Priestess. This is somebody who's going to make something happen this week. Much like the train's rumbling before it arrives at the station, heed this warning as the train is on the tracks and will come on schedule. Bitch, this card deck does not play. The message here is to be prepared. Tap into your intuition. You may already have an idea that changes at work are on the way or that your once rosy relationship is withering. You may have picked up the vibe that your landlord is planning to sell the building. Whatever it is, the Tower can be a gift as it will allow you to plan your next move. Because vultures need warm thermal updrafts, they are unable to fly at night. I thought about how these communal creatures, these big, bold, and during the day intimidating birds, would be thrown into a state of panic if they were suddenly tossed out of their nightly nest. I imagined that initial state of frenzy. It is the same sensation that we humans feel when the foundation we have become so accustomed to is ripped right from under us. Okay. The vulture, however, is no pushover. It doesn't cower or fall prey to disaster. On the contrary, it is a fighter and a scavenger. This creature finds opportunities in death and brings you the strength to rise up through the dust into the sun's warmth. The vulture represents community, harmony, and restoration. So this is also about something being rebuilt as well. So a foundation that you have with your person, perhaps being able to rebuild this week. The blessed, we'll get there in a second. First, let's do Queen of Wands for the feminine. So feminine energy. Let's get to your Queen of Wands here. The Queen, 555 on the clock. I'm seeing it just happened too. The Queen of Wands saunters in with a sexy, feminine, effervescent energy as she is eager to get out into the world to create something new and magnificent. Her life almost feels boundless. Although often chipper and optimistic, don't mistake her easygoingness with being a pushover or unambitious, as this queen knows what she wants from life and she knows how to use her charm to secure it. When you encounter the Queen of Wands, you are directed to walk in a leader's shoes of someone whose mere presence can command the room. This is a woman whose undying, upbeat spirit brings a team together with passion and enthusiasm. It is the Queen of Wands who sees the potential in every person and situation and has a knack for drawing out the best in each. When you hold this card in your hand, ask yourself if you are seeing your situation from the Queen of Wands position. Are you able to find the good or the potential just waiting to be discovered? Are you focusing on what is working rather than the flaws? Is your health and well-being a priority? When you need a boost to your self-esteem, when you need to feel powerful and in command, call on the lioness to help you roar. Book a session with me. I'll help you. Okay, that's what that means. No. I mean, If you are uncertain or if you feel uneasy about taking the lead, if you need a boost of energy to rally a team, call upon the lioness for her fearlessness and passion. When you walk next to a lioness, you will be protected. The crow is a nod to my first deck, the Crow Tarot. Here, this bird is passing the wand to the lioness, and with it, the power of intuition, of being able to glance through the veil to see all the possibilities the future holds. The lion represents passion, command, authority, royalty, power, and prestige. I love this because I feel very much my red nails and all. I feel very much in my Leo energy. I have a grand vision of building my center for the intuitive arts and sciences, and I found a location that I'm absolutely in love with. It costs $1.8 million. And seeing as I've had trouble getting an apartment for the last 2 years, one might be intimidated by such an amount, but I'm not. I know that like my vision for what I have would be really easy to get funding for. So I feel like it's totally possible. But it's this beautiful convent. There's a church and a convent and a rectory, so that there's like a house with it. And I want to have a sound healing choir, and I want to have an esoteric library that people can borrow from, and I want to have like community-based programs. And I have all these visions I've been building for the last 2 years, and like classes and courses, and a place for the research of the intuitive arts and sciences and where those things cross over. And I've been really, really talking about it and working on my vision for it. And I can see it really clearly. And that's another energy of the Queen of Wands is really just talking about your vision to the right people. And because you don't want to tell every single person, like you want to tell people that are actually going to support that vision, because you'll get all kinds of responses. So know who to talk to, but share your vision or write down your vision or whatever it is about your relationship or this connection with this person, and focus on it. Do not focus on what you don't want. Why are you doing that? Do you understand that what you focus on is what you will then find evidence for? That's how it works. So really, really be mindful of the way that you're talking about your relationship, the way that you're talking about your person. Like if I talk about my person as somebody who's constantly avoidant, who's not brave enough to do X, Y, and Z, who's this and that, then that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting, because I'm going to get the evidence for that. That's the reality I'm creating. So be really careful about your words. Okay, let's get these final messages. For the Divine Masculine, we have the Blessed card in reverse, which is a protection message. Number 22, which yesterday was the 22nd, actually. It says, humility is called for now, as grace is an unearned gift. You didn't gain this by your own desires or actions. To be who you need to be, you can no longer do what you did. In a way, you have hit rock bottom, and what is required now is nothing less than total surrender. Then you will be blessed. Oh, that's so real. Oh my God. Okay. Time to go for Divine Feminine, number 45. Oh, I opened right to it. So did you know it's time? You are at the end of one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience thus far. Take stock of what you've learned. It is time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There is nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in your present circumstances. Didn't I say that I'm at a point where I have to move into a relationship or a connection to learn the rest of what I need to learn? And if the person that I've been focused on for years is not able to go that way with me, I can't go there. I have to go to a new place, which lo and behold is exactly what the masculine energy is afraid of, right? Because there's no movement, and he knows the next step for me is to actually be in a relationship. And if it's not him, then it will be someone else, right? There is that fear there. Must move on. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time. Your destiny is calling you. The relationship message. Oh, some of you are not going to like this, but sometimes it's not what you want to hear. It's what you need to hear. It is over. Or at the very least, the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. I know this is true. I don't even shed a tear over this. 100%. The way that my relationship has been with that person I've been focused on, it's not serving either one of us in any way. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost. Although this card could speak to a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract, it is more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. And I can tell how healed I am right now in this energy, because I think in the past I would have delivered that message with my ego being disappointed. I would have gotten off the live and I would have watched it and I would have cried. I would have felt sad. And right now I don't feel sad at all. I don't feel like I'm losing anything. I'm not losing anything. I have all the experiences that I really value with the person that I love dearly. I have all the joy. I have all the pain. I have everything. I have it all. And it has prepared me to be an incredible partner. And it's time for me to practice being a partner in a partnership, because you can't be a partner in a solo proprietorship, which is what I've been doing for the last few years. And I actually work better in teams. I'm the connector. I'm supposed to bring the people together and then watch the magic unfold. That's what my center is going to be about. I'm going to find people that are great at what they do, and I'm going to put them in one place, and then I'm going to unleash them on a community and just let them work magic, because that is what I was brought here to do. And I'm going to sing while I'm doing it, and perform and do shows and release music and make artwork and read books and share them and read tarot and teach and talk and be a part of it all. But I'm not going to do it alone. And that's been my biggest thing, I think, is feeling like I have to do everything myself because I need it to be perfect. And finally coming to a place where I'm like, privilege, people who have privilege are people that know they can't do anything by themselves. They accept help. They accept connections. They use the connections they have to their advantage. They are literally living a life of privilege because they don't try to take on anything that they are not an expert in by themselves. So that's who I am now. If you want to be a part of that, if you think that center sounds awesome and like you want to be a part of it, Wednesday nights, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come to the discussion group. We are talking about the Egyptian Book of the Dead in that discussion group right now, but it is an open forum for all things involving intuitive arts and sciences. You don't even have to read the text to participate, although you might, because you might be curious about it after you hear us talking about it. But it's just basically a space for us to share our passion and interest for these things. And if I was going to have a church, the deity that I would worship would be wisdom, knowledge, the worshiping knowledge itself, learning. That's what I want, the church of knowledge. So come be part of my church. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. I hope that these messages really helped you, and that I'm sending you on your way. Oh, look at the Six of Swords. I forgot I pulled this card. This is the Six of Swords. This is the overall energy, which is exactly that time to let go, moving on. You learned what you needed to learn. If that masculine, the person leaning into their masculine energy is afraid that you're moving on, it's because you are. You are not in a situation where you need to stand around and wait for somebody to notice that you're, the bee's knees. You're the bee's knees. You're not seeking that validation anymore. So you're certainly not interested in a runner chaser dynamic. That's not where you're at. If you're still in that space where you feel sad about this message, or you feel like you are still kind of in a runner chaser energy, there's nothing wrong with you. You're at a stage in your journey where you're learning how to run and chase after yourself instead. And I can help you figure that out. So book a session with me. There's $22 readings and $55 video recorded readings at the link in my profile. There's a place where you can schedule an intuitive guidance call. One call is actually two for the price of one, because I will do a second session for you within 30 days of the first session. So you can basically have 2 sessions a month when you book that intuitive guidance call. It usually lasts anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. And it is a chance that we can do readings in the sessions, and I do, but it's also a chance for you to explore some of your inner child wounding, figure out, why you're attracting certain types of experiences, and break those cycles. That's really what I try to help you do. And also my goal is to show you how to do what I do not to have you become dependent upon me in any way. I also teach music, like I said, and of course, there is hours and hours and hours of free content for you here on Tuned In Pearl YouTube. I posted over 700 videos, and most of them are over an hour long. So you will never, ever, ever need to spend a lot of money to get insight from me. But if you would like to support my channel so that I can keep bringing you these messages, I do need financial support from you. So please make donations. Even small donations help. I could, like a $5 donation makes a difference sometimes from my bank account overdrafting. So please, please, even small donations count. And of course, if you are interested in becoming a member at passes.com/pearlsprayers, where I do have some exclusive content, there is a $15 a month membership, also a great way to support me. And get the tea on things that are happening before everyone else. Thanks so much, Lady Luna, for being here. All right, everybody. I love you so much. I will bid you farewell, YouTube. Right now, if there's anybody in here who would like a personal reading, I can probably do 2 or 3 before I need to go eat some dinner. But farewell, YouTube. I will see you probably on Sunday for the week ahead reading. Take care.